Hey everybody, Carl Lanning, Brazos River Charter School with This Week in History, specifically the week of September the 13th through 19th. Well, first of all, starting off, we have Private Charles Commando Kelly. Uh, Private Kelly, 22-year-old Private Kelly in Italy on September the 13th of 1943, did what ended up earning him the Medal of Honor presented 6 months later. He was the first man to earn such an honor in the European theater of war for the United States. What got this is he volunteered to go with 30 men to take out an enemy forward outpost from the Germans. In less than an hour, he had killed 40 of the enemy using multiple rifles and wearing out the barrels of two 30 caliber machine guns. Later, the end of the first day, he was sent to a house on the town square to defend it from regrouping Germans. He and the group he was with were ordered to fall back. Kelly volunteered to stay behind and delay the Germans so that the rest of the men in his platoon could escape. Using whatever weapon he could find, including a bazooka, some 60 millimeter mortar shells for which he didn't actually have a launcher for, so according to him, he would bang the base on a windowsill, throw it out of a second floor window, and hit the ground. Because as soon as it hit the ground, it went off. He held off a German counterattack long enough to eventually be able to slip out himself. So a very, very brave man. When he came back to the United States, he was wined and dined across the country. He was used to help sell war bonds. His life afterwards, though, went downhill quickly, unfortunately. He couldn't hold a job. He wasted basically all of the money that was given to him by well-wishers. His first wife died of cancer. His second wife he abandoned. And in 1984, he died. 83, he died of kidney failure and liver failure after he pulled the tubes out of his arms that were keeping him alive at a Pittsburgh VA hospital. So, sad case, a very brave man, but I guess they used to call it during World War II, I believe it was battle fatigue. Today, I guess we call it post-traumatic stress disorder. He just couldn't really adjust. Private Commando Kelly. Well, last week, I mentioned to you the cast of this television show and how perhaps it was therapy for some of the actors. The name of the television show is, of course, Hogan's Heroes. On September 17th, 1965, Hogan's Heroes first premiered. Now, I always found the show entertaining, but what I wanted to focus on was the story behind a few of the actors that had a very close connection with the subject matter of the television show. First, we have Werner Climper. Werner Climper, of course, played Colonel Klink. He was Jewish, and his family immigrated from Germany in 1935. He went on to serve in the United States Army in the Special Services and entertained troops in the Pacific. His father was a very, very well-known jazz ensemble leader. He accepted the part of Klink on the condition that the character would always be played as a fool and would never be successful. Now, then we have Leon Askin. Leon Askin played the character of General Burkhalter. Leon Askin's family was also Jewish. He fled Austria to France and then later to the United States in 1940. He had several run-ins with various Nazi authorities and did spend some time in detention camps. Unfortunately, his parents and siblings were killed in the Treblinka concentration camp. Then we come to Corporal Lebeau, Robert Clary. Robert Clary perhaps had the toughest story of all. I don't know if any of them were easy, but good grief. In 1942, he was sent to the Buchenwald concentration camp. He credited his survival to his youth, his good health, and the fact that every other Sunday he sang with an accordion accompaniment to the SS guards there at Buchenwald. Upon his liberation and return to Paris, he learned that 12 members of his immediate family had died in Auschwitz, and only 3 of his 13 siblings had survived the war. Then we come to John Banner, also Jewish. John Banner was an actor. He happened to be in Switzerland when the Germans invaded his home country of Austria. He was unable to do anything for them, so he fled to the United States, and most of his family members died in concentration camps. Although I think he maybe summed it up best when he was asked about playing a German soldier. He said, who can play Nazis better than us Jews? You know, I guess when you're an actor, you play whatever role comes your way. But perhaps for these gentlemen, there was a bit of therapy in playing they and their families' tormentors as fools who are always bested by the POWs. I don't know. Anyway, Hogan's Heroes. Well, finally, we have, on September 17th of 1796, George Washington's famous farewell address was first published in Philadelphia, the Philadelphia American newspaper, and then later newspapers across America and the world, for that matter. Handwritten, it was 32 pages and over 7,000 words. In it, he left us some parting thoughts, and I would like to share some of them. That was always one of my favorite paintings of Washington. Forming political parties will lead people to voting for party loyalty over the common interests of the nation. We should avoid permanent foreign alliances or be dragged into someone else's war. We should be on guard that one branch of government does not usurp the powers of another. He talked about the strengthening qualities of a moral education and said that government should borrow sparingly and always pay its debts and not pass that debt on to future generations. Well, every year since 1896, on Washington's birthday, a member of the Senate is chosen to read Washington's farewell address aloud to the United States Senate. I'm hoping that one of these days they might actually listen to it. Well, that's about it for this week. I'll let you know what's coming up next week. We will meet this man. Everything that Davy Crockett ever claimed to be, he really was. Well, I'm Carl Lanning, Brazos River Charter School, and we look forward to seeing you right here next week.